I've got a question to ask you. Are you loving your children in a way that they can feel it? In a way that they can feel it and internalize it and see something good in themselves. This is so important because one thing I'm learning is there's a difference between the kids that can see something in themselves, something good, something positive, versus those who don't see anything. And what they see is what they're going to do next, or what they see is what they have, but they can't see who they are. You may be wondering, well, how do we help kids see who they are? And what role does love play in helping kids see who they are? Well, one of them is when you're with your child, don't just say that's great. Don't just say, oh, good job. Be specific on what you are complimenting. Be specific so the child knows what you're talking about. So the teenager, and teenagers are children too, knows what you're talking about. If they can't name what they see in themselves, it's highly likely that they have not been given an example by the adults around them. Now, this is not a blame to the adults. I'm simply saying we've got to do our part to make it plain to them. If they know what their schedule is, if they know what they're doing the next day, they also should be able to name what they see in themselves. This is so important because as kids get ready for internships, as they prepare for careers, they have to be able to name their strengths, they have to be able to name their weaknesses, and be able to talk about themselves in a way that says, I'm the person for this position. This doesn't start when they're 16, doesn't start when they're 21. It starts when they're 9 and 10 years old. So when you're spending time with your child and you see them meeting an expectation, tell them, wow, you are blank, meeting the expectation, and you are blank, whatever quality you see in that child. That simple sentence frame will help the child begin to see themselves as capable with certain attributes, because this is what we want our kids to have. We want them to be able to name what they see in themselves. When they can name what they see in themselves, they can be who they see in themselves, and that to me is so exciting. I've worked with numerous amounts of students who couldn't really name what they saw in themselves, maybe just one or two things, and we had to build that sense of self. But through the activities, through the reflections, through play-based discovery work, these kids were able to name their attributes. And just putting strengths on a card, strengths being appreciation for beauty, teamwork, collaboration, and I get these strengths from the VIA Institute. Just putting them on index cards and helping them to name their strengths gave them the edge, gave them the advantage that they need to see within themselves. So when we say be who you see in yourself, we got to find out what they see. We've got to find out what they see, because what they see is going to dictate what they participate in, what they contribute to, their conversations, their friends, their extracurricular activities. Here's another one I want to share with you. When you are spending time with your child, narrate what you see them discovering. This is so important because parents will say, and mentors and guardians will say, well, we were side by side, but nobody was talking. Or they were talking, but there was no meaningful conversation to where that child could gain insight on who they are. We have to help kids build their lives. And the way that we do that is with our words, with our actions. So when you're with your young person and you see them discovering something, you hear them asking certain types of questions. And I do this with my students. I say, wow, that's a great question. I was with one of my 16-year-olds, and his question was, how do I know how much time to spend on a project when the project is due at the end of the week? And I said, wow, that's a great question. I never heard him ask me that type of question before. So I had to affirm, you're thinking, you're onto something, you're onto a higher level. And now that has been deposited into his mind. You're asking higher level questions of yourself. Now you can meet the expectation. Now you can meet the challenge, the demand, and create that opportunity for success. And so simply by narrating what we see our kids discovering, wow, you found this thing. Wow, you're really wrestling with this idea. That helps the child see a sense of curiosity. And that's such an important emotion. That helps them to see that they have research capabilities, that they have a scientific approach, they have a hypothesis, they have a prediction, they're going to do some analysis and some evaluation. It is so exciting. But I say all of this to say that these are very practical ways to help our love be felt by those kids. And when they can feel that type of love, very few things will come close to that level of love, because you took the time to show the interest. And you can do this. You can do this. You may say, well, no one ever showed me how to do this. You've been shown a way just now. No one ever told me. I just told you. Okay? I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be uplifted. And if it's hard for you to do this type of connection with your child because the example has not been set, it's not too late. You can start today. You can start today. The only thing it's going to cost you is time. But remember, you can pay now or you can pay later. I bless you. I want the best for you, and I'll see you again soon.